Stuff transcription. No. Okay, I believe we are good to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're recording?
We are recording.
All right. It is 7:09 on the 10th day of February, 2026. As presiding officer, I hereby call this regular meeting of the Vernonia Rural Fire Protection Board of Directors to order. Please note that this meeting is being recorded. Public comments will be accepted during the public comment section of the agenda. Please rise for the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have any additions to the agenda?
Yes, I would like to add to the agenda discussing missing meeting minutes and audio recordings from previous.
And we'll address that in new business. Any other additions to the agenda for tonight? Everybody good with the agenda? Okay. All right, members present. James?
Here.
Steve?
Here.
Dawn?
Here.
No Amy?
No.
I am Neil Kennedy. Staff present?
Fire Chief Greg Brady.
Board Secretary Charlotte Tanner.
Other staff will sign in as visitors. All right. Approval of minutes of the previous regular board meeting for 1/13. Has everyone had a chance to review it?
I will make a motion to approve the minutes for 1/13/2026 meeting.
Dom, is that a
I'll
second?
second it, yeah.
Any discussion? Hearing none. James?
Aye.
Steve?
Aye.
Dawn?
Aye.
All right, motion carries. Newsletter.
Be submitting my article at the end of the week for the Vernonia's Voice issue coming out on February 19th.
And what will that article be?
We are currently going to be adding everything that's happened for the last 3 months. And then we are going to talk about Heart Month, as well as adding people with the mental health in there. And then we are discussing whether we want to add an issue or wait to talk about levy.
Okay. Any discussion? Yes.
Just let you know that I'm not sure that we don't have to worry too much about that because Scott intends upon doing a story exclusively about that.
Okay. Correspondence.
We have 2 postcards that we have received from patients. Take a peek at them. All I have.
All right. Treasurer's report. Everybody get a chance to review.
There were 3 large checks that Steve was wonderful and signed for you guys. They were larger amounts. Signed.
Nice.
Next for you to sign. His signed checks are highlighted in red.
I'll make a motion to approve the treasury report.
I'll second.
James?
Aye.
Steve?
Aye.
Dawn?
Aye.
Motion carries. Pay the bills. right, information items, chief's report.
Yeah, okay, total calls for service in January of 2026 was 56 calls. That's up from 45 in January 2025. We had our hydraulic tools, our rescue equipment serviced about a month ago. And 2 weeks after that, we, as you can see across the street, we tore apart 5 cars, spent all day. We went to use the tools again. Well, no, it was at the tool there. We discovered the tools were not operating as effectively as they should have been. And we've had since had the maintenance guy come out to determine there is a problem with the pump. It's going to require probably some significant rebuild to the pump. So we're waiting on estimates for that to see what it's going to cost to rebuild. But they do work. They're just very slow. We also have our other battery operating tools, which will work in a pinch. But we had several minor MDCs. One that's a little more significant, I did put on there, was we had a crash on Highway 26 car, kind of in a ditch. We had to use some saws to get the person extricated from the vehicle. They weren't hurt that bad. They just couldn't get out of the car, so they cut the windshield out and they were able to self-extricate. No significant fires in January. Training, we put in 254.5 hours. A lot of that was the vehicle identification class. The state of Oregon DPSSD came out and gave to us. We also trained on our lifting bags here. We did bloodborne pathogens, and then myself, Charlotte, and Lieutenant Carter went to Multnomah County, spent 4 hours in a budget law class there. We learned a lot of stuff. It was a good class. Upcoming stuff, we're going to be working on a rapid intervention team training, some more EMS stuff, including HIPAA and mandatory reporting. Administratively, 244 hours put on by our volunteers as standby here at the station, ready to go on calls. I think I mentioned this is a repeat. Our SCBAs are in service or inventory. We're using them. Taking the budget classes that. So I will be out of town January 19th for most of the day.
January,
Huh?
you time traveling?
Go backwards?
Yes, I am. Go figure. February 19th, we'll say. I think I told you all that I was selected to be on a panel for Oregon State Fire Marshal's Office, the study of rural district, fire district funding options. And I'm not on the actual committee, but I'm on a sub panel, and they're going to convene the sub panel on January 19th. Myself and Chief Kaczynski are going to go down there together to offer our input on that.
Will that be at Salem?
Yeah, I know I said that. February 24th through March 5th, I will be on vacation in Texas. I go on a big trip every 2 years with a buddy of mine who's retired Ben police officer. So we're going to head down to Texas for 2 weeks. I've notified all the other chiefs in the area. I feel comfortable in things being taken care of. I feel comfortable in the staff here being day-to-day operations. Lastly, I put on here, I was notified 2 or 3 days ago that I've been selected to serve on the Oregon State Fire Marshal's Red Incident Management Team. In the past, I've worked with the federal agencies. This year, I'll be working with the state team. So I'll be on the team ready for a call out as a liaison officer. I also am an alternate for a Central Oregon smaller team, but my primary focus will be supporting OSFM. And I'm expecting a phone call this week. We should be receiving our to come pick up our new fire engine from Hillsborough. I'm expecting that call any day now. I spoke with them last week or the week before, and expecting to pay out for us to get a call to get it. So at that time, we'll need to cut them a $10,000 check. 2 options. We can call you guys up, say come and sign a check, or you guys can pre-authorize me to sign the check in your call. We budgeted for it. We have it. It was in our budget to purchase for $10,000.
Is it for again?
City of Hillsborough to purchase the fire engine. You know us.
Do we need to move on that in the form of a motion to have him pre-authorize?
If we want him to sign it, yes. So is there any discussion on it? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
We've been planning this for actually a couple of years now. We have 2 budgets. We have $10,000 set aside. I'd like to say the motion no more than $10,000.
Yeah,
They
not
come
to
back,
exceed.
they want 11,000. Like, no, we can't do that. So.
Right.
I'll make a motion that we pre-authorize the chief to sign a check for $10,000. Does it go to Hillsborough? City of Hillsborough, and to not exceed the amount of $10,000.
Okay.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? James?
Aye.
Steve? Aye. Don?
Aye.
Motion carried. Chief, you may sign a check not to exceed $10,000.
Joint taxes.
Never been. I've been to Dallas for class, but I didn't get out and do anything. There for a week.
Go to Eastern Oregon.
Did you get that motion?
Motion to sign check for the engine not
Bye.
to exceed template provided to the city of Hillsborough.
Yeah, motion by Steve, second by Don.
Yeah.
Okay. That's.
So, this is for your next thing, when you call it out, I'm going to speak on it.
All right, so board policies.
Board policies. So, obviously, this was the one thing that, and I fully agree was important, in my chief's evaluation, in two different places it mentioned the need for board policies, and I absolutely agree, and we've got policies to talk about tonight. But I want to bring your attention, every single policy in your hand is one that, as long as I have been the fire chief in my tenure, these have been approved as written. So these are our current policies that at least two of the people in this room have previously approved before you guys were elected anymore. So since roughly November of 2024, these policies in place. Now, I tracked down the latest policy manual I can find with the latest dates on them. These are here. What I would like to discuss, I think it's in future in new business, or something like that, but I think it would behoove us sometime next several months to maybe have a work session.
Yep.
Where we can get together and go through this policy manual page by page, decide what we like, and update them or just reaffirm them or something like that. They're here. Some of these are dated 2012, 2011, is one, 2015.
Are those staff policies?
No, these are
Board policies.
Board policies,
Okay.
right there, yeah. So that is the latest one I can find, but as you will notice, you're welcome to take these all home. I made copies for everybody. These are all formatted differently because some of these I started to put into Lexicol and had to retype them. Some of these were not. Some of these came out from SDAO, the format of them. How we end this, the final product ends up, I think is going to be something that we might have to enlist a contractor to start sending these policies to somebody in India or wherever it might be to retype these in a standardized format. I don't know. I just know that we're gonna have twice as many of these that need to be reformatted. All the wording's there, just formatted, they all look identical.
Yep.
Things like that. So that's where we're at. I just wanted to, thinking about the fact that, you guys want policies, and I want to give you policies, but we have been working on policies that are here. We're better than. That's it for more policy.
As you look at that board policy manual, what do you think the timeline would be? Like, how long do you think we would need to schedule a work session for? Is something get done in an hour? Is it a half day? Would it be 4 hour?
The problem that I have seen in some of these policies, not a lot of them, but a few of them are, most of these are going to be very easy to just say, yeah, we like this policy. Affirmative action, we'll check the language on and make sure it's current language, something like that. And we'll just reapprove it. Like, that's good, things like that. There's a few others in here. This is a policy, the district shall maintain a pension plan for all employees eligible for PERS as outlined in resolution 96-03. Well, we don't have resolution 96-03 out there. We'll find it, which serves your point right there. And I'm not sure that I've never seen a pension plan in a policy format before. It's always becomes like a contract, something like that. So it's something we have to look at.
I saw the number one problem. There's a signature in there that
pops out of the page.
Yeah, that one right, there's one right there,
Dirt.
duties of the chairman. Anyways, honestly, I'll be very honest, I think this might require a half day.
Yeah, that's what I would think.
Yeah, it's just, now, I'd have to make copies every single one of these, so y'all.
Would you like to just scan them all, the entire book, and I can send it to each of you? That
No,
way
because
you
I
have
won't
to-
look at it.
Okay.
So I would much rather have it in a physical format and we can sit there, and I don't need it ahead of time, right? We can sit down and just do it at the time. I would suggest when we put that on calendar, prior to that meeting, get with SDAO and have them give you an exemplar board policy, like what's being operated on currently out there in life size, and just have them on hand.
They have those all on their library. I have access to every one of them. So I can compare what that
There
policy
you go.
says from 2011 to what's current policy that they have on their website is 2000. Easy to do. I can
Okay.
compare.
And since you have access to it, I would just say, and look for what's missing, right? And I'm looking at these, and some of them may just flat out not apply or not for us, but I would bring those as well.
Okay.
It's easier to look at something and go, okay, yes, but we'll strike that line and add this line. Is a lot faster than thinking about it and going, oh, how are we gonna write that?
So I would just ask the board that we perhaps do this. My recommendation will be late in May,
Okay.
following our election.
Agreed.
So I want to concentrate on that for now.
I would agree too.
And so maybe perhaps like the third week of May or something like that. The election's May 19th, I think it is. April, May,
Sure.
19th,
Yes,
yes.
and I take that.
So, anytime after that would be appropriate,
Does,
We could do it on the 20th, I don't know.
does this body have a preference on how it's done? So let's just assume that it's gonna be a half day or 4 hours.
Be Saturday.
Would you wanna do 2 evening sessions of 2 hours apiece? Or do you wanna get together on a Saturday?
Get it done once.
Saturday was.
For me, I'm with. And
How about the stay?
knock it all out at one time and
Get
get
it
done.
done.
That make it easier for you too.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll throw this out here, May 23rd is a Saturday.
What's a good thing, it's a Saturday and it's the 23rd, because the day after that's my anniversary. I know it would happen if I did that.
So we can just call it board workshop then.
Saturday the 23rd?
So obviously, we wouldn't be able to approve any policies, but we could certainly change them and then bring them to another meeting to look at. Well, you guys.
Earlier in the day, it doesn't take the whole day.
I'm definitely for early.
Oh, 600?
No. I can go fix mine.
You can forget that.
What was the date again? I'm sorry, the 23rd?
Yeah.
About 9? Work for you?
9 a.m. works for me.
8, 9?
And 9's pretty late, but.
8 o'clock works for me too. We'll do 8 a.m.
Would that be too early?
Can we do 8 a.m.? Is that too early for you?
It can be as early as you want it. I'm just.
Don't say that.
Hey,
This is the guy that likes to hunt, they get it for.
hey, I've been paramedic for 6 years, so
So 8 a.m. Let's do 8 a.m.
Got it.
Bring as much policy information we can to that meeting. and
Yep.
Try to hammer through everything and go for it.
Yep.
Okay. Before I do that, just so we get also here, I wanted to hand out, just so you have them. I'll make sure everybody's got everything that I've done here. So I have here copies of all of the job descriptions for our current paid staff, which includes technical administration.
Thank you.
And,
That wasn't in any of this stuff you gave me, was it the other day?
No.
Separate? Okay. Anything?
Senate administration. Here it is, lieutenant. And finally, I'll give you a copy of my job description.
It's thinner than the other one.
If I wrote it, no.
There's a picture that keeps coming up on that screen over there and it's Brody with his eyes and they're all bugged out. It's like, wow, that's real.
There's one more thing here.
Your chief and a lieutenant of administration.
This is my current contract.
He give you yours.
Here's my contract.
This is not highlighted.
Right.
The one thing I noticed in the contract is it shows a stipend of health insurance for 500, we changed that to 675.
Yeah, so we changed all of it, right? It wasn't just.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So that is all, everything that I could think of that we've done, that I've worked on since I've been here, in the paper administrative format, and it's helpful for Don and Steve, who are new to the board. Well, I got copy training as well. That's it.
Any other discussion on policy? Strategic plan remaining tabled until summer of 2026. Unless there's conversation about it.
Yes.
Table. Okay. Have your proposal.
I just asked Kenny, I forgot to grab it. It's in my rig because tomorrow, I'm going to take what's called a Form 805, SCL 805 form, which is from the Oregon Secretary of State's office. It is the form that I take and file with the county. It has been vetted by SDAO and our attorney's office, have both vetted it, said the language is appropriate, accurate, legal, and it's what I need to do. The board has already authorized me to move forward with it, but I just wanted to show you the final product, that this is the form that will be submitted to the state. I don't know if you guys wanted to read it or not, you're welcome to.
See this.
There's just specific language on there, what we not actually, we were told not to make it specific. It's just what we needed for operations, to improve staffing, to buy equipment, and what the budget impacts, well, what the fiscal impacts are. We put in there, I contacted the assessor, average assessed value per property, the average in Vernonia is assessed at $152,600 or something like that. And so we showed what that would be to the average, but then we also added in, we thought that just sounds a little bit low, let's make it easier. I think we also put in what the 200,000 assessed value home would be, what it would cost per month for the individuals, tax holders. So we put that in there. And like I said, SDAO and our Oregon government law attorney Lloyd Cooper have vetted that. And this form, it's interesting, the process is really kind of bizarre. So this form, basically, I give it to the county and then some people have 7 or 10 days, I think it's 10 days, to object to
The filing.
the filing of it. And then I put another form in, which is essentially a carbon copy that I call the 803 form, which they can object to the title of it, or not the title, but I don't know, something like that. But I'll be submitting that again here in probably 2 weeks to officially put it on the ballot. I think this form's due by the 27th. I just want to get in now.
Day 9.
Sister, one of the things, for example, one of the things we were talking about today was spending some money to convert the white Dodge pickup truck from a its utility purpose into a brush truck. And I just found a federal grant from the BLM that might just pay for the entire thing. So I don't want to put specifics on there because,
Absolutely, and it can change.
yeah. So they take the total assessed value in the district, which is $346 million, divided by the number of taxable properties. No, but Todd, let me tell you right here, you are now confusing two different things. It's taxable values, and that's where people get screwed up. My house is worth $450,000. It's not what it is assessed at.
That makes sense.
Yes, please.
That makes sense.
That's the big educational thing that I have to do.
Yeah.
I have
That's
to
gonna
do
be our
that.
biggest piece.
Yeah.
It always is.
Yeah, and that's what's gonna get people.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and that's part of our educational campaign is you gotta look at your tax form to see what there's the RMD, which is the county thinks your house is worth, and typically you get higher than that, what the county thinks it's worth. And then there's AV, which is assessed value, and that numbers are usually very, very, very good.
Yes.
Right, let me show you that real quick.
And neither of those numbers is close to what Zillow's goes.
Right.
And we picked out some things like, the county says this property is worth, we say 520, it's set to 294.
Oh, okay.
So.
Okay, any conversation on levy proposal? Social media networking agenda,
You're after reviewing this
policy review.
policy from last board meeting, there were some changes you guys have to put in. Thanks to Lieutenant Tanner, she did the smackdown job getting the stuff in here. So on the policy, she has highlighted, at least on my form, the additions we put in here. Confidentiality mandate, just talking about, you can't give out information regarding names, addresses, photographs, driver's license number, license plates, things like that. Personnel should not photograph or publicly share vehicle ID numbers, license plates, specific patient handling. So any of the documents that we have, we're not going to leave medical charts out on the tables for people to read names, things like that. Don't post victims or share photo names, acts and details on social media until officially released by law enforcement or authorized personnel. Minimize the collection and retention of unnecessary personal identifiers, exact locations, and restriction of release. Any release of data must be limited to only which is strictly necessary for the purpose of the investigation. So hopefully this met the requirements you guys wanted to see on there about not sharing anything. Or sharing as minimal as possible.
Any discussion?
I'll make a motion to accept the social media networking policy that's been presented to us.
I'll second it. Stephen Don.
Mm-hmm. All right, I have a motion and a second. Any conversation, discussion? James?
Aye.
Steve?
Aye.
Don?
Aye.
Motion carries. All right. Board elections eligibility policy.
So this basically talks about the waiting period. So in your board packet that I gave you, stuff we've already worked on, there is specific information during what you have to be able to serve on the board, and that identifies you as a property owner and or a registered voter in the district. Those are the two things in policy form. Obviously, there was a board additional policy talking about the 5-year waiting period. We have since, at the board's direction, reduced that down to the 2 years, is right, 24 months. And it talks about how people are responsible to mention any conflicts that they might have in terms of that their time served with the district, associations with the district, things like that. Talks about waivers. Like, for example, the board shall not waive this requirement based solely upon the operational convenience or personal qualities. basically kind of forces our hand here to follow our policy.
Yep.
So. And you guys are the ones that make that determination. I do not, staff does not, you
Right.
guys are the ones that make that sole determination.
So we worked on a new policy that has the 2-year information. You'll find that in your old business section, and it has a little yellow sticky note. So you, this is not combined with the current policy. This is kind of its own.
Right.
Find it too if you guys decide to do that. It's just kind of as a basic kind of start. So you guys make a decide.
What was the old policy?
Sorry?
When was the old policy written? Apparently nobody knew where it was.
We could not find that. I remember Mickey had a copy. But I do not know when it was written.
Great. Do I have a motion?
Made a motion to approve the board of elections, policy.
A second.
Second.
James?
Aye.
Steve?
Aye.
Dawn?
Aye.
Motion carried. All right. New business. Resolution. Is that correct?
Yes.
Because of budget year? Why is it 2025? Resolution 2025-9? Is that correct?
Yeah, because our budget year started 25.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that's what it is.
Exactly.
We're in 2025 budget year.
Right. It becomes 26, then it has July 1.
Copy that.
Yeah.
All right. Resolution 2025-9, adopting Columbia County Fire Defense Board burning and fires. You want to talk about it at all, Chief?
It's very,
Resolutions are, in the business.
yeah, we realized when we had a legal matter, there was an incident occurred last summer where guys doing some illegal burning. And the guy went to court, Lieutenant Carr went to court to testify on this. And there was some ambiguity about how we have our rules in place.
We as the district?
We as a district. So, we did win in court, I say what, the person lost in court. It was ODF that issued the citation to him, but we were also there. And we thought it would be, probably very appropriate of us to actually say that we have adopted the Columbia County Fire Defense Board standards on burning and outdoor fires, things like that. So there's actually a standard out there that Fire Defense Board's had in place forever. And, we'd like to just formally adopt those so we have some legal standing.
So how are those different than ours?
They're not. They're not. We didn't have to get back up, like they said. Where do you guys make these rules up? We couldn't find anywhere. The burn forms we've had or been around. I have no idea how long they've been around. But we had nothing drawings on where are you getting this from? You guys just make this up as you go along. So this now says, this is where we're getting our rules from.
Those rules we even discussed way back when I was here, but we couldn't get one to.
Okay.
So I agree with you 100%.
Any more discussion? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
So move that we adopt resolution number 2025-9, adopting the Columbia County Fire Defense Board regulations governing open burning and recreational fires.
Do I have a second?
A second.
We will, trying to remember, Charlotte, we will put a link on our website that directs people to the actual, we have a very short form, you can't do this, the Columbia County Fire Defense Board, it's like 5-page document.
Right, so we'll link to their full ordinance.
Yes.
Their guide.
Yes.
James?
Aye.
Steve?
Aye.
Dawn?
Aye.
That's it. Motion carried.
Oh, gee. Let me know.
Resolution 2025-10, authorizing placement of option levy on the May 19, 2026 ballot.
Yeah, I didn't realize that this required an actual resolution because the board actually agreed to it. We kind of voted us to go forward, the chief. I didn't know it required actual resolution by the board. I was informed by the FSDO. Here it is.
We've already had conversation. Is there any more conversation on this? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion, we adopt resolution 2025-10, authorizing placement of option levy on May 19th, 2026 ballot.
I second.
Seconds.
Stephen Donfit.
Yes. James.
Aye.
Steve.
Aye.
Don.
Aye.
No Amy. And we have a motion carried. Resolution 2025-11 endorsing Columbia 911 operations funding ballot.
Okay, I'm going to really be careful with my words here, how I choose this. This is something that's become surprisingly a political hot topic within Columbia County. Little backstory is Columbia 911 is also a special district within the state. There's only 3 911 special districts in the state of Columbia County being one of them. It was formed in the late 1980s because various departments, city departments, police departments, fire districts and stuff were paying user fees to various dispatch locations and things like that. And those user fees went up and down, and they weren't very well represented. And there was a conglomeration of dispatch centers. So Columbia 911 was formed under ORS and began to tax citizens. Their current tax rate, I believe, is 25 cents per thousand, which was good at the time. But since early 1990s, they asked for a levy of 29 cents per thousand and have passed that levy since the early 90s every time up until the last 2 times when there's been some pushback by some people within Columbia County. I very much worry about this levy not passing because we need 911. We cannot do our job without 911. And the question then is that if they cannot be funded to take 911 calls and to dispatch us to calls and do their job to help us get our job done, 911 has to exist. And the only other way they get funding would be from the users of 911. Folks, that's us.
Sure.
That is us. If
Which
they,
we will pass on as well, and you're still gonna pay the tax.
exactly. So it's we got a double-edged sword here. If both the 911 levy pass and our levy pass, everything's great. If we don't pass our 911, if the 911 levy does not pass and we pass ours, we will probably not feel the full benefits of our levy because we will be paying user fees to 911. I've seen some different numbers. The numbers I've seen range from anywhere from $15,000 to $30,000. I've heard one up as close as $50,000. And that's a huge chunk of change for us. That could cut into personnel services. We don't have a lot of other ways to make cuts. So I think it's important that we recognize the fact that we all work together. We all are intertwined in what we do. And the funding, here it is, a home assessed $300,000 is $87 per year with the 911 levy in place. So it's $87 on top of their normal rate, which is 25 cents per thousand, which is obviously less. It's a 5-year levy. Their current levy has expired. They are raiding their reserve funds left and right to keep things going. And all that reserve fund money was put aside in account to upgrade our radio system. And now, so the chances of us getting an upgraded radio system in the county are diminishing daily as they raid these funds. So the 911 executive director, and I spoke to the board members also, have asked for our input and our endorsement, endorsing the 911 levy. as critical infrastructure for Columbia County. It's critically important, and has asked me to present this to the board for consideration and endorsement.
Have they also approached the cities and asked the city councils, mayors, so forth to endorse?
I can't tell you the exact certainly, but yes, I would. I know there's been a lot of discussion about this. Yes, they're going everywhere. In fact, Jeremy Hyde, the executive director of 911 Columbia County, wanted to be here tonight. I said, I've already spoken to the board about this. I want to save your trip to Vernonia. He says, well, I'm gonna go to the city council anyway. It was kind of a roundabout conversation, but that's how dug in they are and how important this is to everybody.
I can speak to the fact that, to the best of my knowledge, because I've been attending city council meetings, it hasn't been brought publicly in a council meeting yet, but it
Sergeant
sounds like it
Carnahan,
will be.
soon, hopefully soon be Chief Carnahan is very aware of this.
Yeah, so I'm sure it's coming.
Yes.
Well, that's good. I mean, that's a conversation I had with one of their folks, that they needed to do that this time around. So I'm glad to see it's happening.
I will be happy to mention that as well.
And that's, about the one time about them coming up here and doing a town hall with the city so they can understand. Cause we live over here, we're like the redheaded stepchild of the county. So, everybody's like, well, why do they need money? They don't realize that the money isn't coming.
It's gotta come from somewhere. That's right.
Exactly, but just like with our proposal, we're gonna endorse, they need to be able to come up here and explain to people as well, like,
Yeah,
this is why, we have to work hand in hand here.
I have a radio meeting on the 16th or 18th, something like that, with all the users, and I will mention that to the executive director, so.
I look at
I mean, even if we have to have a special meeting just for a town hall.
Yep.
Well, I look at 911, it's like the first wheel on the wagon. It's what gets us rolling, takes it all to get it out.
Yeah. All right, with that, we have a motion.
I will make the motion, the board adopt resolution 2025-11, endorsing Columbia 911 operations funding balance.
James? Aye. Steve?
Aye.
Dawn?
Aye.
Motion carries. With that thought, will we be approaching our city council and asking for them to support our initiative?
I'm a little scared.
What's that?
I'm a little scared. What's me too? I'll be happy to sit down with Josette.
Why does that scare you?
I do know that the last time I sat in on meetings was 2 levies ago for 911. Josette was very much concerned about the issue of compression
Yes.
and the fact that may squeeze a little money that the city receives also. So,
If you like, Steve, I would gladly go with you.
Yeah, I would too. I mean, it would be short sighted, right? So,
Oh, you got your brother and mine covered and.
Yeah. Well, I can't say this because I was in an open city council meeting where chief did address the council and he let them know as council, we were going to be going out for a letter.
right.
So.
it has been public. I've asked for endorsement. I've given them a heads up. It's
I think it's something that we need to,
It would be really nice in the voter's pamphlet if it said it was endorsed by the city or the mayor or, right?
Yeah.
Or all of the above.
Let me make notes. I'll contact Josette and get me on the next, meeting. I'll ask to present, ask the city for endorsement, and I'd like to speak at the next board meeting. Sorry, city council meeting. I can do it. That's what you guys pay me to do.
Meeting is.
Okay.
Actually, 7th of June at 6:30 is the holiday on Monday.
Okay, so,
oh, geez, and then,
17th,
yep.
and their meetings
Alright.
are at 6:30.
I'm not sure we can get it on our agenda this soon. I think we've got a cutoff.
Yeah.
So,
It may be going the next one.
yeah,
Yeah.
You could be, but
Give it a try.
yeah.
I'll ask her. Let me just put myself a reminder here. I will email Josette, tomorrow
I think Wednesdays are better. Totally sure.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be in the office tomorrow, so I need to go do that. So I would say odds are it wouldn't be next week or the week
Yeah,
after.
the
too.
first one.
Yeah, as long as we have enough time to make the voters pamphlet printing.
Oh, no,
Submission.
we're gonna get that.
Right, no, but I want their
Well, they're-
endorsement, if they give it, to appear as part of that.
Understood. Can do.
Volunteer participation, informational?
This is informational, no action needed. I am merely going to come to the board and say, this is not a very comfortable conversation that I like to have with you. It's more of a straightforward, just the facts, man. But when I speak to this organization, for the people that work for me and volunteer for me, it's a little more touchy. The simple fact remains, and a great example would be last night. We had drill scheduled at 7 o'clock last night. I'm gonna go over here, shut up and drill, Benny.
So,
Our volunteer attendance, our volunteer response, since I've been here, I would say is an all-time low. In speaking individually with these volunteers, there's no rhyme or reason. I do know that the volunteers, that you guys saw on the evaluation forms, that they are highly supportive of the way I'm doing things, and the way I'm running this department. But it might be in so much the fact that I'm pretty much an easygoing, would be considered a good boss kind of guy, that I don't get ornery or I don't get angry. And there might be, this is speculation on my part. I'm not really suggesting that they might think that, well, he's not gonna complain, they're not gonna do anything about it, they're just gonna, that doesn't matter. This came to light last week when we had OSHA come into the building. We had OSHA sit down with us here. And this time they didn't go around looking at all the safety problems in the building. They sat down through our programming stuff. And one of the questions he asked me and Brandy was, do you guys maintain your training records? I said, absolutely do. He says, how often? I said, we fill out training rosters for everything. Every little bit of training is documented. He said, great. And how often do you audit those records? I said, well, our recertification period is every 2 years. The DPSST it's December 31st of every even year. And for the Oregon Health Authority, it's every odd year in June 30th. I said, so for DPSST, for example, we audited on December 31st of the first year. So we did it last December, right around December. We audited the training records to determine where people are at, see what we need to do to get people's training to keep their certifications. And I said, then again, we'll audit again like next October, something like that, when we get closer. The first thing he said was, so a person could theoretically not show up to any calls or drills for 10 months and then jam their training altogether over a 3-month period and still be compliant. I said, yes. And then I thought back to the audit report that Lieutenant Leverton gave to me, showing that some of our volunteers have just not been attending. Our volunteers are, for whatever reasons, and every single volunteer has their own individual personal reasons as to why they choose to participate, why they choose not to participate. That's not my business. My business is to ensure that we have adequately trained, responsible, and responding force of people that can adequately serve the typical emergencies that we get in Vernonia. It's not happening. I can tell you the last several fires we had, I had a stat appeal when I showed them my presentation to get the levy put out. And we're getting residential fires, maybe two volunteers showing up, 2 or 3, sometimes none. Most all of our medical calls, we're running with just one of my staff, and there were no volunteers showing up. And I understand that. But I think it's come to time that we need to, for our own protection, for liability reasons. Oh, there's another part I didn't mention also. Lieutenant Tannery sat down, went through our books and determined that each one of our volunteers costs the district roughly $1,000 a year for liability insurance, for workers' comp insurance, for uniforms, active 911, or apps, things like that. It costs us $1,000 a year to keep on the books. we're not getting a return of our investment, money, time, or energy. And I stand to take a pretty significant political hit if I start instituting some minimum response in its standards. But I think that the greater need is that we, as a district, as a board here, we have to look at kind of our CYA in terms of OSHA, in terms of liability and just general goodness, that we don't have volunteers that want to show up, they don't want to train. I won't say they don't want to, I'll just say for whatever reasons they're choosing not to show up and train, they're not showing up on calls, not showing up. Our best volunteers that put the most hours in all live out of district. Alex right here is a former volunteer. He came to me yesterday, he wants to rejoin. He lives in Hillsborough, but he said, I'll be up here for 1 day a week. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. But as much as I appreciate that kind of thing, what's more interesting to me is if we get a car wreck and I get 4 or 5 or 6 volunteers to show up to go to the call. I'm here. I get one paid staff and maybe 1 other volunteer. And I think I'm terribly concerned about the ramifications of us having untrained people, unexperienced people running on this call, standing in the middle of the highway, directing traffic, never done it before, going on a fire, us expecting to be able to hook up to a fire hydrant. They haven't done it in 2.5 years. And what I would like to do is I've already started receiving model participation requirements from other fire districts.
That's where I was gonna go.
And basically, the general thought that I'm going on is put them on a quarterly audit. Not a monthly, so once in a month on vacation to Kenya or right ahead. But I would like to see our volunteers make a minimum of 50% of the drills in a quarter.
Well, so like Christine will vouch, when we first started, if you didn't call and have an excuse why you missed drill, after so many, you were just let go.
So
Done.
when my husband was on the fire department years ago, you were only allowed to miss maybe 2 drills a year.
Yeah,
That
I mean,
was-
there
that
was,
was-
I don't know if there was a policy, but it was
Yeah,
made
that
out
was-
to
that
us.
was
that-
policy. And the ambulance had something similar.
Yeah.
And to play devil's advocate, the reason that my husband left the fire department is because he couldn't work a full-time job and do all of the training and stuff because it was always on Mondays, which interfered with his work schedule and stuff like that. So you've got that on one side, but on the other side, I agree with you 100% that I don't want somebody showing up to my house that's probably gonna go up in about 3 seconds, not being able to.
Well, I mean, there should be a requirement. I mean, they're making a commitment to the community when they come up here to do a job, and if they're not doing the job, then,
We
and I get that a volunteer is not a paid person, but I mean,
but
But it's also not a social club.
exactly.
if you were here, you didn't know about this position, you're just Joe the plumber, I'm making Joe here, Joe the plumber, and your house is on fire, and you see 4 guys that pull off in a truck, you don't know who's getting paid, they're all in
No,
charge. And you expect them to know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And I can tell you right now that I don't have very many of those people. I've got some great people who are volunteers. I got a retired Walton Valley firefighter here, Frank Saloa. I got a guy that's been with Hillsborough Fire Department 3 years, paid firefighter, great guy, his name's Dusty Weaver.
Weaver.
And,
He's fine.
yeah, incredibly good people. I can't get commissioned. And I worry a lot about that. I worry about that we have no records of the training, we have no records of them experience wise. Yes, they bring mountains and years of experience. I don't doubt that. And I know if we got a house fire right now and if Frank Stallone showed up and he jumped on to drive that fire engine and pump it, he could do it. But I worry less about them than some other volunteer, but I can't play favorites because of that.
But the thing about that is that, what are they gonna say? So if you have those people showing up and stuff like that, I mean, you've got to work with the people that you're working with. You have to have a team.
You have to know who you're working with, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's kind of, yeah.
To your point also about Monday nights, you pointed out the drills. And I can tell you this, that if Kenny was working on a Saturday and a volunteer walked in and says, listen, I have been to drill for 4 or 5 drills, I need to do some training. he knows that's my expectation. That he's gonna say, let's go, and I'm gonna go, and they're gonna start pulling hoses, and they're gonna start picking ladders, putting on FTAs, throwing ladders. That is my expectation. They know that. That's what we did with our summertime staff here. We got out, we got them drill and do things. And so my volunteers know that if a volunteer walks in, my paid staff knows that if a volunteer walks in and says, hey, can we do some training? That is number two. Emergency calls number one, number two, and they will give up their time to go train. So I don't worry about that. I mean, we could start saying once a quarter, we'll do a full day Saturday drills. We'll do that too. Okay, we'll spend 8 hours out there doing all that kind of stuff I just talked about. We'll go out for ladders. When we had our drill last Saturday, 2 Saturdays ago here cutting cars, we had 12 volunteers here. We tore a crap out of those cars. We had a great time, learned a lot. Great participation. We did it from 9 a.m. till it was dark. It was dark when we cleaned this place up. And so it was good stuff. But I just,
everybody wants to start a car.
yeah,
No one wants to settle that.
I get that. But that's that's embracing the suck and doing it.
Well, I agree with what you said initially, and that's the CYA. We have to, as a district, cover our tails, and that comes on the OSHA tail, because if we put somebody out there and they get severely injured or heaven forbid get killed, and they aren't properly trained, that comes on us.
They fought them.
Mhm.
Good
Exactly.
point.
Don't have direct traffic, and you haven't done it, and you open a lane. And
So do we not right now have a policy that says if as volunteer,
I had a long conversation with Chief Dan Hansen, who's been in the agency since 2008. And he explained to me that over the years, through various chiefs that he's had here, they tried, that's where he kind of, they tried to institute policy. They could never find anything that was quote unquote equitable or fair or something like that. I honestly believe we're not going to find one that's going to be equitable or fair for everybody. Someone's always going to find error with it. And so it's going to have to be me as the chief executive to say, well, here's the policy, and this is what it's got to be. And we're going to lose people, and it might cost some political capital for me and this organization.
you're losing people that don't show up. That's not
Yeah.
a loss.
Yeah,
But
that's
It's easily spun in the public eye. It's easily, it's next.
And it's easily answered if anybody chooses to ask a
Well,
question.
that's the problem I get with engagements, because someone posts on the Vernonia community bulletin board, I've been a volunteer for X amount of years, and they just threw my butt out. You know, they say they need volunteers, they won't keep me around,
Well, Chief, I mean, I know 2 volunteers that knew that they could not keep up with the pace anymore and bowed out. So,
That's okay.
but see what I'm saying? It's,
Yeah.
it's not just, you know, there are people like, you say, come to the board meeting and discuss it. You know, you can't do the job, you can't do the job.
That's-
bow out.
Your point, right? Monday nights don't work with my schedule. I'm sorry. The door is always open for you to come back if your lifestyle changes.
Yeah,
Or if we hear that Monday night's a problem for everybody, we look at, or for a,
I think I just looked up, I'm sorry. It's on camera.
but you're gonna make the best bad decision, and then that's what we're gonna say. Right?
Yeah,
It's not gonna work for all people all the time.
And that's a great point, because if I had 80% of volunteers say, can we change it to Tuesdays? I'd see like 10, 11 to change our goal Tuesday. Done,
Done.
done.
So you find the one that works the best for the most, and that's what you move forward with.
So the reason this is information only is because volunteers, the employees that you guys are in charge of me, I'm in charge of.
Staff is
the
yours.
Yes. And so I just want to make it aware to the board. I'm kind of looking for your blessing, but not in an official manner. I just want to let you know that I'm getting prepared to make this stake. In fact, on February 23rd, I notified all the volunteers there's going to be a mandatory meeting on the 23rd. And I'm going to invite them to this room where we're having a come to Jesus meeting. That this is about to happen. I will tell them by April 1st, I will have a policy out. And if they'd like to collaborate with me on something, if I'm going to have a committee, I will sit down with the committee. But this has to happen.
So I would say, yeah, to your point, staff is yours. If there's any way to make us the bad guy, I have no problem with it either.
I'm happy
Because
to-
I would not, because I have a huge problem with this.
I wasn't even EMS and I still came to medical drills. I hated it,
Yeah,
Right,
but I was still here.
you were here.
in
And-
the corner, arms crossed.
Yeah,
that's
getting
okay.
up and Friday.
That's fine, but I need to know that
and
generally speaking, if we have a couple different apps on our phone that we used to talk to each other. One of our active 911, that's the one that goes out there and brings me a call, and we all go down, nobody's coming, okay. But we also have another app called Group Me where I can send out a message, and it's the Group Me room is called Additional Response Needed. And I can hit that, and it's amazing, all these people that showed unavailable, suddenly I might get 3 or 4, like, oh, I guess something else. Well, that's not really what I'm looking for. I made it clear, I said, if you can't come on the call because you're in, you have some drinks, or, you know, whatever.
Then you can't go.
Sick, you can't go, you're not available. If you are like, okay, if you really do need me, I can come in, we haven't been, we're available. That doesn't mean you're coming in, it means I'm at home, and if you need more help.
The worst case scenario, I can be there.
Right. But what does surprise is when we get a significant car crash, or we get a residential fire, or a commercial fire, that I'm still not getting people to come in. Or not coming in. Those are the ones usually, in the past, well, we don't have a lot of money, 18, 20-year-old kids that, oh shit, there's a fire, I'm going, and they're tearing through town, blowing stop signs, which is very wrong, but,
I never did that.
it doesn't, it doesn't happen now. We just don't get it. We don't get it.
They're running down the halls at the high school.
Get out of the way.
Yeah, you.
So, how you guys want to treat this information I just presented to you is whatever you want to do, this is your discretion. But let you know this meeting's about to happen.
So I fully endorse it.
Oh, yeah, I do too. Careful with my words too. I would say this, those that are of volunteer status who were previously employed in the fire service know full well the importance of training, and they could not have been employed in the place they were at without training.
Can you talk to neighbor?
I'm being careful, but at the same time, they are important assets, but if they can't train, they're not important assets. You might as well have me show up.
Well, we're about to get a brand new fire engine that's completely brand new to everybody, and I need people to come and learn where the stuff kept on, how to run it, how to drive it, how to work on it.
I feel your pain because I was there many years ago when you knew people were sitting there scrutinizing the call going, oh, I don't want to go. It's just, I'll use this. It was a chimney fire. I don't want a chimney fire. But we talked about it early on before we even started a meeting. You had a dirty fire, big fire, everybody and their cousin showed up, or you had a motor vehicle accident, multiple patients, what have you. They came out of the woodwork, but you get your general medical, oh, an upset tummy or whatever. Nobody wants to come. And to me, I would just at the floor because I wanted to just reach out and pull somebody close to me and say, that's not right. You signed on the line to do the job, whether it's picking up toilet paper off the ground or it's putting somebody's arm back together so they don't lose it. You be there because you're letting the team down.
Speaking of
You're not
toilet paper, there's a picture of me and her down in the bathroom with a toilet paper fire.
So I endorse what you're going to do no matter what the political outfall is, because that's only fair to you and the other paid staff that you have here that are expected to pick up the slack. That can't always happen. You've got to have those extra people.
And if it is, you decide how proper it is, but if you want the board in the room when you have that meeting, I don't think you'd have a problem with that either.
And all of you are welcome to attend my drills. And it's gonna be Monday night, all my drills are Monday nights.
He will kick you out of staff
I
meetings.
will kick down the staff. But Monday night is my drill. 23rd is the day I'm having this meeting. And
At the drill? During the drill?
That's what the drill is going to be.
Okay.
That is the drill. If we can get through it quickly, we'll morph into some sort of classroom type setting, HIPAA or whatever we got to do. But I want to encourage discussion. I want to encourage roundtable. If we want to form a committee, that's the time to do it. I need input, feedback. I'm not generally regarded as a bad guy around here. I will be that night by some. And that's just a part of keeping this district viable and out of trouble.
23rd.
Welcome to the dark side.
7 o'clock,
7 o'clock.
1900. Okay. Yeah.
So I'll probably send another note here over the app in the next couple days, reminding people that I'll do one more at a time.
So, can you email us just a reminder?
Yeah, but I feel your pain because I was there and I know how frustrated I would get. And yet, in some ways, your hands are tied because you can't force a horse to water to drink. But at the same time, if you're gonna put your name on the line, then be courteous enough to the other people. Show up.
At least call.
If you can, I'm like Gene. Get out. Wait.
I hadn't thought about this now, but at first I was thinking the paid staff doesn't necessarily be there because I want to be the bad guy, but now I'm thinking back, it is important. I'm gonna pay overtime for my paid staff to be there, yes.
These guys are the ones that take the brunt of them not showing.
Kenny?
Yeah.
Smile.
You know, it's a tough world we live in because back in my starting days and even back in your starting days, we did a lot of things to help people with maybe not quite as extensive training as they have today by any means. But at the same time, you get to today and these people are trained, you want them to be there to help you. And back in my day, the wet stuff on the red stuff. I mean, that was how simple, basic it was, but it's not that way anymore. And we have to protect their health and well-being.
You know,
That's through training.
a simple medical calling, and Don can speak to this a million times over, is that we typically, we're gonna get 3 people generally on every single medical call. But even the ones that sound like mundane, boring medical calls, you get there and you got a 400-pounder, you got somebody that,
They used to call me because I was usually the muscle.
well, that's what it is. I mean, oftentimes you need that muscle. But our volunteers say, oh, that's the paid staff, I don't want to deal with that, I'm a senior one.
Build a training opportunity.
It's absolutely a great training opportunity, and it lets me know that once the ambulance starts heading to Portland, I got more staff in case the next call.
I'm gonna remind you of a conversation you and I had before I ran for the board position. And he says, I think I'd rather have you in the board where you could help me. I'd rather be a volunteer than come to training and show
I
up
tried.
when you need.
Told me no.
I mean, that's the truth.
Told me no too. Don't
That's
stay.
me.
So that's it, I don't, that's,
So I think you have carte blanche. You do what you need to do and we will support that. Everybody's on the same picture.
before I finish, Lieutenant Leverton, Lieutenant Henry, anything else I should be thinking about, anything you want to add?
Okay. Audience participation.
Next year we got the meeting minute.
What? Did I miss something?
Oh,
They're
new
doing this.
business, the one he wanted.
Missing meeting minutes and audios.
Where was new business? Did I miss it?
I put it on the agenda. All
I
right.
didn't on the agenda.
Oh, there's no, here it is.
In the meeting. Gotcha. All right.
So, looking, I don't even have these minutes in my book anymore, which you probably don't, but there was some, one of our very first meetings, we had a meeting, the minutes are from 7/11/2023.
Okay.
It states that there was, it just states, SDAO and coming from the board, we should not be calling it a resolution, but an ordinance. Then we were handed ordinance 2023-0. But nobody could find that ordinance. They said it was read into the record by Mickey, but nobody could find that audio. Just like nobody could find the board policy that we passed roughly, what, a month later? So, I mean, we're missing things that we legally need to retain.
Do you remember the contents of that ordinance?
Not even in the meeting minutes.
Hmm.
The only reason I have it is because it's supposed to be in my book. But I had to go back like a lot of SDO emails to even find it. So, if we're reading an ordinance and there's not even, and yeah, there's a title, but it's not even the real title, just gives me a number.
Right.
But we can't find it. What else can't we find?
Share something.
I can't say I was helping this actually, and I had found that in the past, there was either an iPad or a recording device used by a previous secretary of the board during the meetings. And then the audio that I found from around that time, there was no recordings before the month of September, so that's why there's no audio recordings in that July meeting. And then I've gone through all of my year about the past couple of years, even before that, kind of looking through board information, and there's, yeah, a lot of missing information. No audio recordings. A lot of the recordings, it seemed to be that they were used just to write the meeting minutes and then were destroyed. So, but a lot of the meeting minutes also are so vague with a lot of information, so I'm sorry, I could have made mine extra long.
Yeah, so this is where it came up, when I was talking with them about it. I mean, it clearly states that Mickey read it into the minutes. I was like, well,
Yeah.
go look at the audio, they both looked at me like, there's no audio.
So, with that said, Mr. Chair, we obviously can't produce what's not there. But what I suggest is that we as a board look at a means of auditing our records. And that means recorded records as well as written records going forward, so that we have at least a semi-annual or an annual review of records to make sure that they're all there and documented for. Agreed.
The other thing I would do is, now that we have a discovery, we're gonna have to reach out to legal.
So I found on this one website, it's sos.oregon.gov, and it specifically tells special districts
I
and
know.
cities, like,
For
for example,
I'm familiar with the retention rule.
you know, I'm just reading it, I'm like, that went out the window a little while ago.
Right.
So
So,
like normally, I would have our meeting minutes from day one that we became a board member. They start in 2024. So like, what happened to 5 months of?
I have your previous, when your books were thinned out, I have all of your records in my office. Mine are from, I don't know, maybe when you started. But then anything before that would just, the only thing I've been able to find is in Clark's old files that were just meeting minutes from this fiscal year, that's it. And if it's not in that folder, there is nothing else in that fiscal year.
Have we chatted with her?
Yeah.
I think we need to chat with her because maybe there's some other form, way, place, whatever.
Yeah,
So,
So this is awkward for me.
Yeah, I know, you have a conflict there.
I have a conflict here.
Understand that. I would just say that, I agree with her, with Dawn, that I think an attempt should be made.
an attempt should be made.
And if you get nowhere, you get nowhere. Did you say something a little bit ago about Todd tacking legal on this
So
too?
before we throw ourselves at the mercy of the Secretary of State, we should probably consult legal and get their read on. We've discovered we have this issue. What's our counsel's opinion on how to come correct on it? Because to your point, we can't create what doesn't exist, right? But then because it happened
Almost 3 years ago.
right, under another watch, and so there's all kinds of issues there. There's gotta be a way to justify. It doesn't make it right, it just says, we understand that we have these gaps, and, because what I don't want is somebody do a records request and we have to come out and go, yeah, missing. So at least we'll have clean forward, how do we justify what has happened in the past? And I would like to have legal's opinion on that before we ask the Secretary of State.
2 points. Number one is, actually 3 points. Number one is, it's very clear, and you mentioned already that this happened prior to the watch of the parent people here, so that's fine. Number two is, I think what we don't have, and I just put together the policy that we had. I don't believe that we have a formal written board policy retention policy.
I was getting ready to say, I hate to do this, chief, but we might need
Hard.
more
That should be easy for me to find from somebody. That should.
Is, and Secretary of State has a retention schedule,
Yes.
right? So all our policy really says is that, right?
Yes.
So we will come up, I will bring the board, probably next board meeting, a board record retention policy, something like that, record retention policy. I'll bring that there. Lieutenant Tanner has done a fantastic job on the minutes and things like that. In addition, every single meeting that I've been involved with is now on YouTube.
Yes.
We recorded right now, they'll be on YouTube 10 minutes after you guys leave here. So that's another thing. And that's all about the transparency everything that we do is transparent in these meetings, and, I cannot speak to what's happened in years past, I can tell you, so when we made our move, I will be the first to admit that I looked at a bunch of paperwork that we tossed out. I tossed away SCBA records from 1989, from two SCBA's. They didn't exist in the department. We tossed a bunch of stuff. But the stuff that was board specific in these folders, the folders were not tossed. They were not open. They were kept in these boxes. So all that kind of stuff. I threw away train records from Steve's from 1974, sorry.
Let's see, I was still in grade school.
Those kind of things were tossed, but nothing even remotely close to, this legal stuff
Right.
was not tossed. So what a previous person decided to retain and place into these folders, that was before.
No, I just don't want,
Understood. We need to,
we need to set
and we need to get a read on it too. Is there anything that we need to do to avoid future legal consequence when somebody asks for old records that don't exist anymore?
So
That
I
are
think
clearly in violation of.
we'll probably have to do both a resolution saying this is what we're gonna do and we're gonna follow this policy that we're gonna approve.
Great.
So we'll have to approve policy, I don't know what we're going to do, but resolution of policy saying that we're gonna do this.
Yeah. Agreed.
And I can assure you that anything since I've set foot in this building has been done.
Oh, yeah.
I would say this too, before you even go to legal, because that's expenses, go to SDAO. And get a hold of their fire service person, George, and that's George.
Okay, there we go.
Because I'm sure this is not unique to us.
It is not, it's going to be a small district issue. We've done this before, and there's going to be an answer. Just may not be pleasant.
Okay.
I mean, sorry, guys, I thought it was kind of important that we brought this
No,
up.
it's okay.
No.
It just goes to show, like, when I was looking for old policies and finding policy manuals that were just disastrous, old ones mixed in with new ones, and it's a headache causing thing.
It is.
Just from an administrative standpoint.
But now, we have an admin lieutenant.
See, and I'll tell you what, yesterday I had her some of these, job descriptions, because they were formatted differently. I said, please make them same. Headers are different. She handled it in no time at all. I don't like to call her my secretary. She likes to call herself my secretary. She's not my secretary, but I do sometimes. I'm going to try. Charlotte.
Yep.
It's really good in the escape room. I found it out this weekend.
In an escape room?
Yes.
So as a consensus then, we've kind of given chief a direction to talk to SDAO and come back to us with what you find from there.
Yeah.
And then we can go from that. But for your protection, and I'm not, she's got a conflict with some of that potentially. And so I wouldn't want to see you get in the crossfire either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can always abstain.
Yeah. I mean, you're welcome to participate, but I know how it is.
Yeah.
And
Well, and I also understand the paperwork, politics, and all of that. I mean, done a lot of that with working at Metro.
Yeah.
And retain stuff and everything, and
All right, so we good on this for now?
yeah, I'm glad you brought it up.
Yeah. Maybe
Truthfully, because I didn't know that.
And Chief,
Well, Painter, I got a lot of time to think when nobody's around.
Chief, you're clear on where you need to go?
Yeah, I got it.
Audience presentation. Okay. Do we have anybody online?
Zarski.
I think Zarsky's on there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is he muted?
Yeah, do I, see people or is it?
They do fall asleep.
Hang on.
Is that
People, there's people.
Yeah.
And then I go to James, I can unmute him. Mike, and James, if you wanted to talk, you can unmute yourself and say hi or not.
good?
All right. Good.
All right. items not on the agenda, open to public, board staff, patient. Anything? Agenda suggestions for future meetings.
I would just say to follow up on that.
Yeah, exactly. So follow up on the
Magnitude.
and retention policy, introduction of a retention policy. Steve, you had something else?
I was just gonna say with this information that he gave us, you guys will all have a chance to read through that. Take a look and see what you think of that area where it talks about a board director needs to be or can have just a geographical piece of real estate within the district and still participate as a director on the board. You guys all look at that, you'll see it.
I mean, they don't have to physically live here.
You know, I can own a parcel and.
Yeah, yeah, and so it's just something to consider. I don't. There it
If you
is.
show up for the meetings,
It's on the membership of the board director.
Okay.
Introduction there. Just take a peek, see what it
See,
says.
that's good, as well as, you know, we set an attendance policy.
Right.
and That's not anywhere around as well.
well, we'll address that in our
Hopefully,
board policy.
See, that was another,
Yeah,
I mean, there's things that we did that are missing.
okay. Anything good of the order?
We already talked about the first thing, workshop for working on policies.
We did.
Number two is, since Lieutenant Leverton was kind enough to get us a grant for a new Hamato tool, I made the decision to surplus our oldest, smallest tool, Alfalfa Fire District outside of Bend, between Bend and Prineville. Wants to purchase it, they are going to pay us $2,500. And I've already declared surplus, did the paperwork, and Charlotte's prepared a bill of sale. And we are going to sell it to them probably this weekend there. Lastly, this came up today. We noticed some overflow of our septic system. We have a septic tank, which is then pumped from there into the sewer system.
That makes sense as to why when I come up here, that I said something about, I said, wow, the sewer is really raw outside. I thought that was the lagoon.
Now, it was being pumped across Lake Duke. So we had to call out a septic repair company, came up here, they diagnosed the problem as a electrical outlet box on the outside of the station, which controls the pump to pump the water from the septic, or pump the stuff from the septic tank to
In
the
the
septic.
sanitary.
That box, which is brand new, put in probably by Five Star Electric, was full of water and poured out the system. And everybody looked all over, we cannot find where it's leaking, why it's leaking, but it was full of water. So they did a temporary Band-Aid fix, they drilled a hole in the bottom to drain water out. They're gonna send us a bid to replace that box. In the meantime, tomorrow we're gonna contact Five Star Electric, see if they'll come up there and take a look and honor some of the work that they did. Finally, just a funny thing I just thought about, this weekend, we were invited several months ago to attend a Philly cook-off for the Oregon Burn Foundation, Legacy Hospital Oregon Burn Foundation. Vernonia Fire has not participated in this before. I got an email and I said, this is way out of anything I'd be comfortable in doing. But I found the right person to set it up right there, that young lady,
I can't say no.
and we rolled with it.
I
So
saw on Instagram.
myself and Charlotte and Jessica and Christina, we all went down there, got there. 7:30 in the morning it started, there was a whole bunch of booths, and it just blew us away because I spent some personal money and we decorated our booth up beyond belief.
It looked good.
Fantastic.
Really good.
But nobody else in the room had decorated their booth.
Really?
Not a single soul. And we drew the biggest crowd and we had a ball with it. Everybody loved us. We made some great connections. And we won. There's our medal up there for best dressed in booth and things like that. And apparently we come to find out we were 1 point away from winning the chili cook-off.
Oh my goodness. that's
But you
cool.
can't beat a legacy team when it's legacy judges.
Yes.
Yeah.
Understood.
But we had an absolute blast with it. We were looking for it. Although we raised the bar, everybody said, oh, we're coming back next year, but they're gonna have it's be some pretty elaborate stuff next year, so we don't know how we're gonna challenge that.
Oh, we'll talk.
That's all I have.
I can say this after meeting. I'm good.
Okay.
We need a motion.
I'll take a motion to adjourn this meeting.
I'll make a motion that we adjourn the meeting.
Have a second?
Darn.
I'll second.
James?
Aye.
Steve?
Aye.
Don?
Aye.
No, Amy? Motion carries. It is 20:34. Next meeting is March 10, 2026, 7 PM.
With the exception of the workshop on the deal with the 23rd, reminder of that for the.
Yes, we will have one workshop on the 23rd. And with that,
Oh. That's not a workshop, well,
Well,
I guess you have to.
no, that's not a workshop on the 23rd. Drills on the 23rd, isn't it?
Drills on the
Drills on
23rd.
Drills on 23rd.
That's not a meeting, you guys aren't.
That's not a
discussing board
meeting,
Business.
right? Nope.
Yep, yeah,
That's just to hang out.
Yeah.
No business can be discussed, okay.
yep.
remember we have the meeting with the chiefs on the 21st.
But that's just you and I, there's no quorum there.
That's.
Yep. Right, and with that, meeting is adjourned.
Oh, that.
Don't tap.
What I was
Still
doing.
that roll.
It's always a good report.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Oh, wait.